Hello, my name is Lino Marrero, a kid reporter and kid inventor with Invention Convention Worldwide. I'm excited to be joined by my guest today, Laney Brown, Vice President for Sustainability at Avangrid, an Invention Convention Worldwide partner. Hello, Miss Brown, and welcome, and thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. Could you begin by sharing a bit about yourself and the work you do at Avangrid?
Yeah, thanks so much. And it's great to be here and so nice to speak with you today. I live in Portland, Maine, and I have the great fortune to work for Avangrid. Um, I am the Vice President of Sustainability at Avangrid. I've sort of worked across the business. I had a chance to work in a variety of areas, helping customers, helping build out networks and systems, even starting up a new company within the business. And now I'm in the role of sustainability, which is great. I get to work across the business, really supporting all of the organization and helping understand what we need to do from an environment and social perspective, and really helping the business deliver on our sustainability goals.
Wow, that's really amazing. And first off, I would like to congratulate Avangrid for being recognized among the world's most sustainable companies in S&P Global Sustainability Yearbook.
Thank you. Thank you. Just recently announced. So thank you.
Yeah, that was really interesting and cool. I'm definitely a big fan of sustainability. So, Miss Brown, can you tell us a bit about why Avangrid has such a commitment to sustainability?
You may know that electricity is one of the biggest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions. It's also such an important part of the work that we do and how we live. And so it's a critical, we take that role really seriously. And we're one of the largest renewable energy companies in the US. We're deploying, massive offshore wind turbines and deploying networks to help support electric vehicles. So it's really a critical part of the work we do every day. And I think it's also important to note that when we talk about sustainability, it's not just about renewable energy, it's also about how we are part of our communities and the work we're doing with our communities, with our customers to employees as well, to really help improve things for everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah, those are all really great things. So Avangrid has been a supporter of Invention Convention for many years. Why does Avangrid support Invention Convention?
Invention is and innovation is such a critical part of the work that we do. I talked about a couple of things like how do you actually figure out how to get wind turbines out and into the ocean as an example, or how do we ensure that our networks are reliable, or even how do you understand how we can get non-emissions vessels out to support those wind turbines as an example. These are things that we're thinking about every day, and it's critical to the work we're doing. I think the other thing too, and maybe your sneakers are an example of this, where things are changing. And so we have to keep thinking about how we solve some really big problems that we've got ahead of us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a really big fan of invention as well. And I think that inventing is just great. And so with our world changing so fast, resources depleting and energy demand increasing, we're presented with both challenges and opportunities. I know it might be a top secret, but can you tell us anything about any future plans Avangrid might have in the energy sector?
So I think you're right. Things are changing incredibly quickly. I don't know if these are top secret, but some of the things that we're looking at are new ways of creating a renewable energy. So things like green hydrogen, as an example, or renewable natural gas provide interesting alternatives to us as well. We're also looking at how we can reduce emissions and losses from our network, and also thinking about what else could customers be using that could make their lives more comfortable, but also have a lower impact on the environment. And then I would also just say there's some really interesting things going on around biodiversity and the work that we can do in those areas as well. So lots of stuff happening.
Yeah, that's all really super cool and interesting. So I had one question for you. So what did you study in college that led you to get such a great job at such a cool company?
So I am an English and American Studies major. And So, not technical, not an engineer, but I've actually worked in a lot of different areas that are technical. And I think one of the things that's maybe important about what I learned, and is a lot of what I do today, is I talk to people across all different parts of the business. And some of the things like learning how to communicate effectively, being able to look at different ways of thinking about things is really important to the way that I do my job. That probably came from my work or my studies in English and American studies.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love both of those topics personally, and of course, STEM and inventing and all of that.
Of
So,
course.
what exactly got you into the more sustainability and energy fields?
I started working in the energy industry. Well, maybe working backwards a little bit. I actually worked in telecommunications for a while. And I started actually working with customer information. Then I moved into some of the technologies. Then I had a great opportunity to work actually overseas, helping to build out new networks in the Baltic Sea region. So really interesting elements of understanding markets, understanding customers, understanding technology. And those are all things that apply to the energy industry.
One thing I found really cool and interesting is that Avangrid is a big supplier of wind energy. And one cool fact is that Texas, where I live, is actually the state with the most wind energy production. And so,
Yes.
is there any innovations or new stuff that Avangrid is working towards in the energy field, in the wind energy fields?
Yeah, yep. So I talked a little bit about our offshore wind farms, and those are absolutely new. And we are one of the first companies to actually deploy in Massachusetts in that wind, in that area for offshore wind. I would also just say, some of the work that we've done in Texas, although it's maybe not as exciting as, say, deploying offshore wind, but we're actually helping improve the efficiency of our systems. And that was really important. Maybe I shouldn't mention this, but in some of the Texas, the bad storms in Texas, we actually could keep our turbines going forward when some other energy wasn't available. And so sometimes it's maybe not as exciting as a big experiment like offshore wind, but it is really important that the innovation and the work, even on just keeping our other wind turbines going. So, but yes, Texas is big for wind. Absolutely.
Yeah, and like you mentioned about the big winter storm, it's really cool that y'all's wind turbines were able to keep going. And that's actually what inspired me to create my latest invention, the Kinetic Kicks 2.0, not having access to power and improving upon my previous invention.
Yeah, I saw that and I thought that was fantastic. Yeah, I was working actually with folks in Texas at that time, and I'm sure they could have used your sneakers.
Why do you feel inventing, particularly by students like me, is important?
Yeah, I think we touched on it a little bit. I mean, there's so much work we need to do to help, again, reduce our emissions and to help really overall create a more equitable and safe world, whether it's new energy inventions, whether it's different ways of producing food. There's so much opportunity for us. And we need smart, creative thinkers all over to help us really get and achieve those big things that we have ahead of us.
Definitely. I think that kid inventors are going to be really important for our future.
I totally agree.
Piggybacking off that, what words of advice do you have for any young entrepreneurs or kid inventors participating in Invention Convention?
I think you've got it. So I'll just say, I'm surrounded by people who are problem solvers, generally speaking, and they get real satisfaction out of that problem solving and inventing and innovating. So I think it's so important to love what you're doing and get satisfaction from that work. So that's, I think that's a key thing. And I would also say another area I think is really important is don't forget to ask why. Why are we doing this? Could we be doing something better? Why do we do it this way today? Or why is this policy here? So I think asking why is super important in moving things, creating new things, and moving things forward.
Definitely is. Why is probably one of the most important things about inventing as a whole. And so, Miss Brown, thanks so much for joining me today. And thanks to all those who tuned in. Be sure to check out our YouTube page for other awesome Kid Reporter segments, invention tips, and news from Invention Convention Worldwide. Also, be sure to visit us at www.inventionconvention.org. See you next time.